I died choking on my own blood in the attic of Grandma's rotting mansion. My brother's hands around my throat, his eyes cold as the inheritance papers he'd forged to bury me forever. But death isn't the end when you've got unfinished business. Waking up gasping in my old Chevy, the engine's still humming on that godforsaken highway to Willow Creek. I realized the universe had hit rewind, dumping me back 3 months before the knife twisted in. This time, Athena Hale wasn't going down without dragging every traitor into the grave with her. The first thing that hit me wasn't relief, it was rage. Pure and electric, surging through my veins like bad moonshine. I'd been 32, fresh off a messy divorce from that sleazeball Jake, when Grandma Eleanor's will dropped like a bomb at the family lawyer's office in downtown Nashville. 1 month, the suit droned, adjusting his glasses like he was reading a grocery list. Athena must reside in the family home at Willow Creek for 30 consecutive days to claim her share.
Fail.
And it all goes to charity. Charity? That was code for my brother Marcus's slimy ass. He'd been salivating over that pile of dust and debt since Dad kicked it a decade ago. I remembered the drive out there like it was yesterday. Because hell, it was yesterday in my head. The Tennessee backroads twisted like a snake's spine, kudzu choking the pines, and that old radio crackling Johnny Cash's Folsom Prison Blues, as if the man in black knew I was heading straight into a trap. Marcus had called that morning. All fake concern. Sis, you sure about this? Place is a shithole. Let me handle the paperwork.
Yeah. Right.
Handle it by shoving me down the stairs and staging a tragic fall to snag the deed.
But now?
Now I was looping back, heart pounding as I white-knuckled the wheel, the dashboard clock mocking me at 2:17 p.m., exactly the timestamp of my last life's arrival. The air smelled of rain and regret, and I slammed on the brakes at the county line, tires screeching like a banshee. Fuck you, Marcus, I whispered to the empty cab, my voice raw. I'd trusted him. Hell, I'd trusted Jake too. That two-timing prick who'd whispered sweet nothings while funneling my savings into his poker buddy's pockets. And Aunt Lydia, that viper in pearls, always cooing about family first, while plotting to carve up the estate like a Thanksgiving turkey. This rebirth wasn't some fluffy second chance, it was a loaded shotgun. And I was the one pulling the trigger. First stop, Willow Creek. Not to play house like the will demanded, but to unearth the bones they'd buried under the floorboards. Grandma hadn't just left a house, she'd left a goddamn indictment. Clues hidden in the walls about the family sins that started long before I was born. Pulling up to the iron gates rusted like old blood, I killed the engine and stepped out into the muggy heat. The mansion loomed, all sagging eaves and shattered panes, a Confederate ghost from the 1800s that Grandma had clung to like a bad habit. Vines strangled the columns, crows picked at the overgrown lawn. I fished the key from my glove box, same one that had jangled in my pocket on D-Day, and jammed it into the lock. The door groaned open, exhaling dust and mildew, and I stepped inside, flashlight beam slicing the gloom. The foyer was a time capsule of faded glory, crystal chandelier dangling like a noose, portraits of stern Hales glowering from the walls. I remembered tripping over that loose floorboard here in my first death, Marcus helping me up with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. This time, I knelt and pried it up with a pocket knife, heart hammering. Underneath, not the expected rat skeletons, but a yellowed envelope, sealed with wax-stamped YH, Grandma Eleanor. My hands shook as I tore it open. Inside, a single page, her spidery script. Athena, my fierce girl, the house holds the truth. The fire of '89 was an accident. Your father knew. Marcus's father, my son, lit the match to hide the ledgers. Debts to the wrong people. Blood money from moonshine runs during Prohibition. Laundered through the family distillery. They killed to keep it quiet. Burn it all if you must. But don't let them win. Holy shit. Dad had died in a car wreck 5 years back. But now it clicked. The whispers. The late-night arguments. Marcus's old man, Uncle Ray, had been the arsonist, torching the original distillery to cover embezzlement. And Dad? He'd taken the fall. Guilt eating him alive until that wreck on icy roads. Rage boiled hotter. This wasn't just inheritance, it was a vendetta spanning generations. Marcus had inherited the greed, twisting it into fratricide. He'd married into it too, his wife, Tessa, that Botoxed barracuda, had forged the addendum to the will, bumping me out if I didn't survive the month.
Jake?
He'd been their mole, feeding them my divorce dirt to paint me unstable. I pocketed the letter and prowled deeper, boots echoing on warped oak. The kitchen was a relic, Formica counters scarred like old scars, fridge humming faintly on emergency power. I raided it for a warm beer and chugged half, the bitterness grounding me.
Outside.
Thunder grumbled, promising the storm I died in.
But tonight?
Tonight was reconnaissance. By midnight, I'd mapped the place. Attic rigged with loose beams for my accident. Basement flooded but hiding a safe behind the boiler. Combination scrawled in Grandma's Bible. Tucked under the sink. I cracked it at 2 a.m., sweat stinging my eyes. Inside, ledgers from the 20s. Yellowed photos of bootleggers in fedoras. And a modern USB drive. Plugging it into my laptop, thank God for portable tech. Files bloomed. Bank transfers. Emails. Marcus to Tessa. Athena's the loose end. House sells for $2 million if she's gone. Jake's reply? On it. She's cracking already. Bastards. I slammed the laptop shut, breath ragged. Sleep? No chance. Instead, I dragged a cot to the parlor, barricaded the door with a hall table, and lay there plotting. Step 1. Play the part. Arrive eager for the stay. Charm the locals in Willow Creek who knew the old rumors. Step 2. Leak just enough to Jake, make him sweat. Turn him against Marcus. Step 3. The trap. But revenge isn't clean, it's messy. And I'd have to get my hands dirty in ways that'd make a Southern Baptist clutch her pearls. Dawn broke gray and drizzly, and I showered in the lukewarm trickle upstairs, the clawfoot tub mocking my resolve. Mirror fogged, I wiped it clear and stared at the face that'd launch 1,000 regrets, sharp cheekbones. Hazel eyes flecked with green like kudzu leaves. Hair a wild chestnut tangle. You're Athena Hale, I told my reflection. Not the doormat. The storm. Dressed in jeans and a faded Vols tee. I fired up the Chevy and headed to town, 5 miles of potholed blacktop. Willow Creek was the kind of dot on the map where everyone knew your daddy's sins and your mama's recipes. First pit stop, Harlan's Diner. Neon sign flickering like a dying firefly.
Inside.
The smell of bacon and burnt coffee wrapped around me like an old quilt. Mornin'. Athena, drawled Millie behind the counter, her beehive unmoved by the humidity. Heard about the will. Crazy old bat. You're gran. She slid me a mug without asking, black. 2 sugars. Just how I liked. Crazy's one word for it, I said, forcing a laugh that sounded half real. You believe those stories about the house? Ghosts and all. Millie leaned in, voice dropping. Ghosts? Honey, it's the devils that lived there did the huntin'. Your Uncle Ray, Lord rest his crooked soul, burned half the county's history in that fire. Folks say your daddy found out too late. Her eyes flicked to the door as the bell jingled. Marcus. Striding in like he owned the joint, khakis crisp, polo hugging his gym rat frame. At 35, he looked every bit the golden boy, blonde hair slicked, smile practiced. In my old life, I'd hugged him, spilled about Jake's bullshit. This time, I sipped slow, letting the silence stretch. Sis. He clapped my shoulder a tad too hard. Made it through night one? Place ain't eaten you yet. Not yet, I replied, meeting his gaze level. But it's got stories. You remember the attic? Loose boards up there. Could trip a girl. His smile faltered. Just a twitch.
Yeah. Well.
Watch your step. Tessa's coming down tomorrow to help with cleanup. Help.
Right.
Help push me out a window. We bullshitted over eggs, small talk about the Titans' losing streak, Aunt Lydia's latest church scandal. But under it, my mind raced. Plant the seed. Heard from Jake. I asked casual, forking a bite. Marcus's fork paused. X's are X's. 8EH. Why? Just. He mentioned some money troubles. Said you two chatted investments.
Lie.
But a good one based on those emails. He chuckled. Too quick.
Nah.
Guy's full of shit. Focus on the house. Yeah, 1 month. And we're golden. Golden for you. Maybe. I nodded, paid up, and left him nursing his coffee, unease flickering in those blue eyes. Outside, rain pattered the windshield as I drove back, radio tuned to NPR droning about climate whatever. But my climate? It was war. Back at the mansion, I dove into the library, floor-to-ceiling shelves sagging under forgotten tomes. Grandma's journals. That's what I needed. Pulling a ladder over, I climbed, dust motes dancing in sun shafts. Volume from 88. Ray's hands shake worse than a sinner in revival. The ledgers. He thinks fire fixes lies. But the devil don't drown in flames. Pages later. My boy's married now. To that Lydia girl. She sees the dollars. Not the damnation. Lydia. Aunt Lydia. With her pearl clutches and poison tongue. She'd married Uncle Ray young. Birthed Marcus. Then watched Ray drink himself to an early grave. Officially, heart attack. But whispers said overdose to silence his guilt. Lydia had raised Marcus on tales of family legacy, code for grab what you can. And after Dad's death, she'd positioned herself as matriarch, whispering in probate ears. I snapped photos of key pages with my phone, uploading to a cloud drive I'd set up en route, burner account. No traces. Evidence first, then the blade. By afternoon, storm clouds boiled, and I paced the veranda, lightning forking the sky. A text buzzed. Jake. Heard you are at the witch house.
Need to talk.
Meet at Old Mill. 7 p.m.
Bait.
In my first life, I'd gone, desperate for closure. He'd fed me wine laced with just enough rohypnol to blur the edges. Then drove me back concerned, straight into Marcus's setup. This time, I'd flipped the script. See you there, I texted back. But first, a detour to the garage, Grandma's ancient Buick. Keys on a hook. Popped the trunk. Jackpot. A .38 revolver. Oiled and loaded. Tucked in oilcloth. For varmint, her note said. Varmint like two-faced kin. Dusk fell sticky and oppressive as I rolled up to the mill. Tires crunching gravel. The structure squatted by the creek. Water wheels still. Boards silvered by time. Jake's F-150 idled. Headlights off. I parked 50 yards out, gun in my jacket, and approached slow. Athena? His voice echoed from the shadows. Silhouette broad and uncertain. 40 pounds heavier than our wedding day. Gut straining his flannel.
Jake.
I stopped 10 feet away. Rain starting to spit. You look like shit, he laughed. Nervous.
Divorce'll do that.
Look.
I
fucked up. Marcus, he paid me to spy. Okay, but I couldn't go through with the rest. The rest? I stepped closer. Voice steel. Like drugging me? Setting up the fall. His face drained. How? He said it was just to scare you off the will. Athena. Please. Please what?
begged.
Lightning cracked, illuminating his panic. I pulled the .38. Steady. You sold me out for what? 5 grand? Our marriage vows meant jack to you. It's not, he backed up. Hands up. Marcus is the snake. He and Lydia, they planned the fire too. Back when Ray was alive. Covering the distillery scam. Your dad confronted him, and boom, wreck on 65. I knew that now, but hearing it from his weasel mouth, it ignited something feral. Kneel. What? Kneel. Or I paint the mill red. My finger itched the trigger. Controversial? Hell yes, vigilante justice in God's country, where the law's slower than molasses. But he'd earned it. He dropped, blubbering. I recorded him. Proof on my phone. Trembling, he tossed it over. I caught it one-handed. Thumbed play, Marcus's voice.
Tinny.
Dad's mess ends with Athena. Lydia's got the forger lined up. Good. Leverage. Get out of town.
Jake. By dawn.
Or this bullet finds your kneecap first. He scrambled to his truck, peeling out in a spray of mud. I stood there, soaked, gun heavy in my palm. First blood drawn, not literal, but close enough. Back home, I uploaded the audio. Anonymous tip to the DA's office in Nashville. Let the feds sniff around the old fire. Arson statutes don't expire. But sleep evaded me again. Thunder rolling like accusations. Tessa arrived at noon the next day. Her Mercedes purring up the drive like a cat eyeing cream. Mid-30s. Pilates toned. Blonde as a debutante. She air-kissed my cheeks in the foyer. Athena. Darling, this place is rustic. Marcus sends his love. He's tied up with work.
Work.
Selling off parcels of the estate behind my back. No doubt. Thanks for coming, I said, leading her to the kitchen. Coffee. As she prattled about interior designers, I slipped a dash of ipecac into her mug, harmless emetic from the medicine cabinet. Enough to send her heaving for hours. Stomach bug going around, I lied when she paled. By evening, she was curled on the guest room couch, retching into a basin, phone clutched like a lifeline. I borrowed it while she dozed. Text to Marcus, house infested. Athena's losing it, ranting about ghosts. Get here now. Then deleted the thread. Let him come running. Worried his puppets unraveling. Night 3 blurred into paranoia, shadows lengthening, floorboards creaking like whispers. I rigged the attic, tripwire to a bucket of paint. Not lethal, but it'd stain a killer's clothes red as guilt. And the basement safe? I moved the ledgers to a lockbox in my room, booby-trapped with a hair-trigger alarm app. Marcus showed at midnight, banging the knocker like Judgment Day. Athena, open up, Tessa texted. I cracked the door. Shotgun, borrowed from the attic. Unloaded for now, propped casual against the frame. She's sick.
Flu or something.
Come in if you want to catch it. His eyes darted past me, to the gloom.
Nah. Just.
Checking. You holding up, Peachy? I stepped aside, gesturing grand. Tour? Attic's got the best view. He hesitated, then followed. Boots thudding stairs. At the top, I flipped the light, bulb flickering like a bad omen. Remember playing up here as kids? Hide and seek. Yeah, he muttered, edging near the beam. Dad warned us, loose spots. I nodded. Casual. Like that one. And yanked the wire. Paint cascaded, splattering his shirt crimson. He yelped, staggering back. What the fuck? 8H. Accident, I said, voice dripping honey and venom. Like the one you planned for me? He froze, paint dripping like blood. I don't know what. Save it. I held up my phone. Jake's recording playing, his own voice damning him. His face crumpled, then hardened, the mummer's mask slipping. You think you're smart? Lydia's got pull, judges,
Cops.
This family's rotten to the core. Rotten like Ray, setting that fire. Killing Dad to cover it. I advanced. Shotgun rising. Grandma knew. Left me the house to expose you. He lunged, faster than I expected, hand snatching for the gun. We grappled, tumbling against crates, dust exploding. His fist connected with my jaw, stars bursting. But I need his groin, buying space. You betrayed me, Marcus. For what? A pile of bricks and lies. Panting, he sneered. You were always the weak link. Dad, our dad, chose you in the will. Thought you were pure. Bullshit. He died 'cause he couldn't keep his mouth shut. The twist hit like lightning. Dad wasn't just Ray's half-brother. The journals, hints of an affair. Grandma's words, my boy's married. But the child from before, Marcus and I. Half-siblings?
No.
Wait. Dad was the bastard son. Ray the legit. But the betrayal deepened. Marcus had known. Used it to justify the kill. Sickened, I swung the buttstock, cracking his temple. He slumped, out cold. Zip ties from the garage secured him to a beam. Wake up, I slapped. Water from a canteen. His eyes fluttered. Confusion to fury. You're done, sis. Assault? Kidnapping? They'll lock you up. Try me. I played the full file, not just Jake's, but Lydia's voicemails I'd cloned from Tessa's phone. Finish it quick. Marcus. The forger's ready. His defiance cracked. Lydia. She pushed. Said it was mercy. You were spiraling after Jake. Mercy? I laughed. Bitter. Like drowning a stray? Sirens wailed distant, my anonymous call. Timed perfect. Cops en route.
Spill.
Or rot here. He broke. Tears mixing paint. The distillery, Ray's cut of the bootleg empire. Feds closed in '89. He burned evidence,
But Dad saw.
confronted him, got pushed down the stairs that night. Accident. Then the wreck? Lydia tampered brakes.
I
helped bury the tools. Confession recorded. I left him trust, stepping out as blue lights flashed the drive. Officer. I called to the approaching cruiser. Hands visible. My brother's inside, ranting. Violent. I think he's on something. They hauled him out, cuffed and raving. Tessa loaded into an ambulance nearby. Lydia? I saved her for last. Drove to her McMansion in Franklin at dawn, pounding the door till she answered in silk robe. Pearls ask you. Athena? What in? Game over.
Aunt.
I shoved the compiled file USB into her hand. Everything, fire, murder,
Forgery.
Feds'll love it. Resign from the estate. Or I hit send. Her face twisted, shock to calculation to defeat. Family. Fuck family. I turned. Rain washing clean as I walked away. 1 month ticked down slow. The house yielding more ghosts. Letters from Dad. Forgiving Ray in his weakness. I sold nothing. Restored what I could. Turned the distillery ruins into a heritage site.
Truth plaque and all.
Jake vanished to Reno. Tessa divorced Marcus in county lockup.
Me?
Athena Hale. Reborn. The will revealed not just sins, but strength. I stayed beyond 30 days. Because some houses aren't abandoned, they're waiting for you to claim them. The aftermath hit like a hangover after a 3-day bender, blurry edges, pounding head, and a sour taste that no amount of black coffee could rinse. Willow Creek buzzed with the scandal. Hale boy arrested, sister says self-defense. Millie at the diner comped my biscuits and gravy. Eyes wide as saucers. You okay? Saw the lights last night, thought it was meth heads again. Better than okay, I told her, buttering a flaky edge. Truth was, the adrenaline crash left me hollow, staring at my untouched plate. I'd won the round. But revenge? It's a hollow victory when the mirror shows bruises blooming purple on your jaw. Courtesy of fraternal love gone toxic. Sheriff Rawls, a pot-bellied relic with a mustache like a broom bristle, pulled me aside post-statement at the station. Smelled like chewing tobacco and regret. Athena. Off record, Marcus is singing like a canary on steroids. Lydia too drove in this morning. Lawyered up but cracking. Fire 89? Yeah. Will exhume Ray's effects. Your dad's wreck? Brake lines filed. Matches the MO. I nodded.
Numb.
Appreciated. Sheriff. He chewed his lip, glancing at the coffee machine.
Will.
It's ironclad. House is yours clean. But word of advice? Some skeletons best left buried. This town's got long memories. Long memories. That's what scared me. The what-ifs looping in my skull. What if I'd pulled the trigger on Jake? What if Marcus's lunge had ended differently? My neck snapping on attic joists? Rebirth gave me the edge. But it didn't erase the echo of my last breath. Gurgling. Alone. Back at the mansion, my mansion now, I barricaded myself in the study. Windows latched against the afternoon drizzle. The ledgers mocked from the desk. Ink faded but incriminating. Prohibition tallies. Ray's scrawl noting cuts to the Italians. Mafia ties?
Jesus.
Dad had inherited the distillery legit in the 70s. Turned a boutique, Hale's hollow whiskey, small batch pride. But the underground vein ran deep, poisoning everything. A knock shattered the silence, tentative, like a guilty conscience. I gripped the .38, Chambered empty but reassuring. And cracked the door. Aunt Lydia. No pearls today, just a rumpled cardigan. Face sallow as old cheesecloth. Let me in. Athena. Please. Voice small. Stripped of venom. Against every screaming instinct. I did. She shuffled to the settee, collapsing like a deflated balloon. He's ruined us. My boy in county, yelling about curses. The feds seized the accounts this morning. Good, I snapped, holstering the gun visible. You deserve it. Tampering with Dad's brakes? For what? Ray's ghost money. Her eyes welled. But no crocodile tears. These looked real. Cracked like dry creek beds. Ray was broken. War came back with him. Nom. The tunnels. Drank to forget.
Cooked books to feel big.
The fire?
Panic.
Your father, Thomas, he found the duplicates. Confronted us at Thanksgiving. Ray shoved him.
Hard.
Stairs took the rest. I covered. Told the coroner fall. But the wreck. You. The word hung heavy. She nodded.
Slow.
Brakes. Thought it'd look like drunk driving. He'd taken to the bottle after. Mercy. Athena. He was unraveling. Talking indictments.
Feds.
Marcus was just a boy, 16. I couldn't let it touch him. Mercy again. The family curse. And me? The will addendum, faking my instability? Lydia's gaze dropped. Marcus's idea. After your divorce. He said you were fragile. The house. It's tainted. I wanted him to have it. Start clean.
Sell.
Move to Atlanta. I laughed.
Sharp.
Clean? With blood on the deed. She reached into her purse, pulling a manila envelope. This is yours. From Eleanor, hid it with the Bible. For when you came. I snatched it.
Wary.
Inside. Photos.
Dog-eared.
Grandma Young. Flapper fringe. Arm around a GI Ray's father? No. Caption. YH. And TS. 42. My secret. Thomas Sr.? Dad's real dad. Not the mill worker story. And a letter. Athena. If you read this. The wolves are at the door. The whiskey's clean now. But the roots? Poison oak. Burn the bad. Nurture the good. You're the last hail worth a damn, not by blood, but fire.
Fire.
The motif that bound us. Arson. Rex. Rebirth. Lydia watched me read. Silent. She hated me. You know. Called me gold digger. But I loved Ray, twisted as it was. Love doesn't file break lines. I stood. Envelope clutched. Get out. Testify full, Ray. The fire. Dad. Or I leak your voicemails too. She rose.
Frail.
I will. For Marcus. Maybe redemption. Door clicked shut behind her, leaving echo. That night. Storm raging full-throated. I burned the ledgers in the hearth, flames devouring sins. Smoke curling like absolution. But sleep brought dreams. Dad's face. Laughing at a barbecue. Then twisted in the Rex mangled dash cam still I'd pulled from police files online. Woke sweating. Thunder my heartbeat. Week 2 dawned clearer. Sun slicing through grime. I hired a crew, locals from Willow Creek. Wary but willing for cash. Structural only, I told Foreman Zeke. A grizzled vet with tattoos fading like regrets. No demo till I say. They swarmed, roofers patching leaks, electricians chasing ghosts in the wiring. I worked alongside, hauling debris, muscles aching in that good, alive way. Rebirth's gift, appreciating the burn of labor. The sun on skin not yet cold. Zeke cornered me mid-afternoon, wiping brow on a bandana. Miss Athena. Off-color, your gran? She talked about you constant. My Athena'll fix it, she'd say. Meant the house. Or more. I paused. Sledge mid-swing on a rotted sill. Both. I think. He nodded, spitting tobacco juice. Town's dividend. Half say you hero. Ex-bosun the hails dirt. Other half, witch hunt. Lydia's kin, church ladies, boycottin' the diner over it. Controversy. The double-edged blade. I shrugged. Let 'em talk. Truth's the only ghost that matters. But truth has teeth. That evening, as crew packed up, a black SUV rolled up, plates out of state. Tinted windows screaming fed. 2 suits emerged. Agent Vasquez. Latina firecracker in pencil skirt. Agent Hale, no relation. Lanky white guy with a Boston clip. MS.
Hale?
FBI. Mind a chat. Parlor. Tea service, mocking the tension. Vasquez led. Arson's open. Ray Hale, your uncle, ties to Gambino remnants. 20s. Distillery laundered hits. Your father's death? Looks vehicular homicide. We need your statement on the recordings. I sipped.
Steady.
All yours. But the house, it's evidence.
Hale noted.
Potentially. We'll need access. After the month. Will's claws burned hot. It's my inheritance, my rules. Vasquez's eyes narrowed. Appraising. Bold. But fair. Unofficial, your brother's flipping on Lydia for immunity. Says she masterminded the will forgery.
No surprise.
And the 89 fire?
Rey solo.
But Lydia cleaned up. Motive, insurance fraud on top of cover-up. I leaned in. Dad, Thomas. He knew. Journal entries suggest yes. Confronted Ray. Got the shove. Then, post-fire, he pushed for restitution to victims' families, widows from the blaze. Lydia saw it as threat. Victims. Plural. The fire hadn't just torched buildings. 3 workers perished, smoke inhalation. Official. Unofficial? Locked doors. Whispers of sabotage. Dad's guilt. That's what the wreck, Mercy, aimed to end. Appreciate the heads up, I said, rising. I'll prep files. They left, taillights fading into twilight. Alone, I wandered the halls, touching walls like lover skin, scarred but standing. Upstairs, guest room, Tessa's vanity abandoned, lipstick tubes rolling like dice. She'd texted from the hospital, divorcing. Keep the pearls, you earned them. Small mercy. But the real twist nod. My blood. Grandma's letter implied Dad wasn't Ray's brother, a fair child, making Marcus and me. Cousins? Close enough for betrayal to sting biblical. I dug deeper. Ancestry site on laptop. Matches confirmed, Grandma and Thomas Sr. Bootlegger kingpin.
Ray?
Legit son. But the Empire's heir apparent. Dad? The outsider. Pure heart in tainted veins. Rage simmered to resolve. No more half measures. I called Rawls. Sheriff. Favor, Pull Ray's autopsy. Overdose or assisted? Silence. Then, why?
Gut.
Lie. Journals hinted Lydia's pills and his whiskey. Will do. But Athena stopped digging. Graves deep. Too late. By midnight. Ipecac forgotten. I mixed a sedative from the cabinet, over the counter. Enough to loosen tongues. Not for harm, but truth. Drank it myself first? No, drove to the county jail. Visitor pass in hand. Marcus in orange. Shackled to table. Looked smaller, eyes hollow. Stubble silvering.
Sis.
You come to gloat. Closure. I slid a flask under the table spiked with the mix. Disguised as contraband hooch. He eyed it, then swigged. Desperate.
Why?
Marcus? Blood cousins. Whatever. We shared Christmases. Fought over Dad's old truck. He coughed. The drug hitting. Lydia. She poisoned it. Thomas took your birthright, she'd say. The will Grandma cut Ray out. Left Dad the distillery clean. I was supposed to fix it, marry power. Build back. You? Obstacle. By killing me?
Tears.
Jake said you were suicidal, easy out. Then the attic.
Panicked.
Thought you found the safe. I recorded subtle. Phone in pocket. The fire?
Dad.
Shove was accident. But the wreck, Lydia's call. And the weakness. I drove the car after. Wiped it. Confession gold. Guards interrupted before more. But it was enough. Outside. Rain lashing. I hit send. To Vasquez. Anonymous. Week 3. Crew finished basics. House breathing easier. Light steady. Roof tight. I hosted a barbecue on the lawn. Inviting Millie's crew. Zeke's boys. Ribs smoked low. Beer flowed cold. Johnny Cash on speakers. No hails, just neighbors. Stories swapped under string lights. Remember the '89 blaze? Zeke asked. Poking coals. Sky red as hell. Heard Ray Logan from his porch. Millie snorted. Bastard. Your gran? She cursed him that night. Fire takes what it gives. Poetic. Huh. I smiled faint. Raising a bottle. To fire and what rises. They toasted. Oblivious. But as stars pricked, a shadow detached from the treeline. Jake.
Gaunt.
Duffel slung. Eyes haunted. Athena. Voice gravel. I'm leavin'. Reno, clean slate.
But.
Sorry, don't cut it. No, I agreed. Handing him a beer. It doesn't.
But the recording?
I held it. Go. He nodded. Vanishing into night. Mercy. My version. Lydia's trial loomed. Arraignment next week. She'd plea.
Probably.
Marcus? Life. If DA pushed murder one.
Me?
Witness stand. The reluctant avenger. But the house whispered still. Attic cleared. I found Dad's box, letters to Mom.
Prereq.
Tell Athena, fight dirty if you must. Hails don't fold. I didn't cry. Instead, planted a garden out back, herbs for the new distillery plan. Clean whiskey. Truth labeled, from ashes. Yet, tension coiled. 4th week. Vasquez called. Lydia's talking. Says Ray had a partner in the bootleg still alive. Old man in Chattanooga. Wants a meet. Partner? The twist uncoiled further. Said it. The drive south was deja vu, highway hum. Radio static. Chattanooga's nursing home reeked of Lysol and lost time. The man, Silas Crow. 102. Eyes milky but sharp. Athena Hale.
Wheeze.
Eleanor Spitfire. New Year Gran. Wild Days. You and Ray, the Ledgers. Grin toothless. Partners. Till he burned us out. But the real fire?
Not mine.
Ray killed those workers, locked 'em in for insurance bump. Your dad. He paid me hush. Wreck was payback.
Paid?
Dad's car wreck fund my college tuition? Silas chuckled. Good man. Thomas. Said his girl said it right. I left with a name. The widow of one worker. Still in Willow Creek. Closure's chain. Back home. Storm broke. Deluge. Power flickering. In the dark. I sat parlor. Revolver companion. Rebirth's cost. Seeing the rot. Tasting the ash.
But dawn?
It came. Will fulfilled. The final days of the month blurred into a fever dream of bureaucracy and buried truths. The house no longer a tomb, but a battlefield where I tallied my scars. Widow Hargrove lived on the edge of town in a shotgun shack, porch sagging like weary shoulders, cats weaving through her ankles like gray ghosts. 87. She moved slow, but her grip on the porch rail was iron, same hands that had sewn mill uniforms before the fire stole her husband. Mrs. Hargrove, I called, steps creaking under my boots. Rain from the drive still beaded on my jacket, the air thick with petrichor and unspoken grief. Call me Ellie, girl. Voice like smoked paper. She squinted from the rocker, tea steaming on a TV tray. Heard you stirred the pot. Good. Billy to prove, hated the Hales' hi-hats. I sat uninvited. The wicker groaning. Billy the fire? She nodded, rocking steady. Locked in. Cuffin, their lungs out while Ray watched from the ridge. Insurance check came quick, big enough to buy silence. But Thomas. Your daddy. He slipped me envelopes. Anonymous. For the boy, he'd say. Timmy's in college, now, engineerin'. Thanks to Hale guilt. Dad's secret philanthropy, funding the Ashes echoes. Why tell me? Ellie sipped, eyes distant. Saw you at the quarry as a girl. Divin' rocks like you owned the river. Spunk. And now, you're finishin' what Thomas started. I left with her blessing, a faded photo of Billy, grinning in overalls, and a resolve hardening like bourbon barrel char. The feds closed in tighter. Silas rolled over. Naming drops to mob ghosts long dusted. Lydia's plea deal crumbled. She faced trial full. Marcus testifying for reduced time. Jake? A postcard from Reno. Clean. Thanks. But controversy brewed in Willow Creek's veins. Church picnic turned protest. Lydia's ladies picketing the mansion gates with signs, which hail Burns' family. Millie texted, ignore M. Han. Half for drunks anyway. I didn't ignore. Dressed in Dad's old Stetson, found in the attic trunk, I marched to the square. Megaphone borrowed from Zeke. Crowd hushed as I climbed the gazebo steps. Rain threatening but holding. Folks, I started. Voice carrying like a revival holler. Y'all know the Hale name, Whiskey Kings, fire starters, grave diggers. My kinlet that blazed in 89 killed 3 good men for greed. My daddy, they braked his life out on 65 'cause he wouldn't hush. Now me, they plan my fall in this very house. Murmurs rippled shock. Nods. A tomato splat the railing. but I pressed. I'm not here to burn bridges. I'm here to build. Distillery reopens next spring. Jobs for locals. Profits split to fire victims' kin. Truth on every label. Forged in fire. Redeemed in time. Applause scattered. Then swelled. Ellie Hargrove in the front row. Fist raised. The ladies slunk away. Tails tucked. Bold? Reckless? Damn right. Southern justice demands a spectacle. Vasquez met me post-speech. Leaning on her cruiser. Stirring shit.
Hail.
DA's dropping charges on you. Self-defense clear.
But the will?
House transfers tomorrow. What's the play? Sell nothing. I grinned wolfish. Tourist spot, haunted history tours. Minus the haunt.
And the whiskey?
Clean legacy. She smirked.
Fitting.
Silas died last night, heart. Loose and tied. One less. But mine lingered. The attic. Site of my undeath. That night, alone with the creaks, I climbed up, flashlight probing corners. Loose beam, nailed solid now. The spot where Marcus's hands had clamped, I sat cross-legged. Journal open, my own. Started post-rebirth. Entry 1. Woke dying. Woke driving. Vow, no mercy for traitors. Now, mercy was the lie. Justice is the ash that fertilizes. Dawn of day 30 broke golden. Sun gilding the vines like new money. Lawyer's office in Nashville hummed with finality, papers signed, notaries stamping like a gavel. All yours, Emmis.
Hail. Congrats.
Outside. Traffic snarled, but I breathed free, no loop, no chokehold. Drove back windows down. Wind whipping. Radio blasting Lucinda Williams. Get right with God. Crew waited at the house. Zeke with a bottle of Pappy Van Winkle. Contraband cheer. To Athena, the fixer. We cracked it on the porch. Shots burning sweet. Laughter echoed. Real this time, no undercurrent of dread. Tessa even showed post-divorce glow. Pearls around her neck, like a noose she'd slipped. Broad docks. Marcus signed over his share, clean break. I clinked her glass. Keep the pearls. Armor for the next fight. She smiled faint. Fight?
Nah.
I'm out, California. Yoga retreats. Good riddance. Evening fell soft. Fireflies winking like conspirators. I wandered the grounds, stopping at the old distillery ruins, charred stones mossed over, wildflowers thrusting through cracks. Kneeling, I traced Dad's initials carved young, TH. Plus AH. Wait, Athena? No. His sister. Long gone. But it fit, legacy etched. A rustle, Rawls, cruiser idling. Final chat. Athena. Lydia's remanded, trial in spring. Marcus? Plea to manslaughter. 25. I stood, dust shaking off. Fair. As it gets. He tipped his hat. Town's yours now. Don't fuck it up. Won't. Promise to him. To Dad. To the girl who died gasping. Alone again. I lit a bonfire in the pit. Photos of Ray. Lydia's smiling at weddings. Jake's wedding band tossed and last. Flames danced. Consuming. And I watched unblinking. Heat on face like a lover's breath. Rebirth's end? No fanfare, just quiet. The house stood sentinel. Windows glowing warm. I stepped inside. Locked the door not against intruders,
but the past.
Months later, the distillery hummed, copper stills gleaming, tourists snapping pics of the firewall, plaque detailing sins and salvation. Ellie Hargrove cut the ribbon, Timmy at her side, suit crisp. To Billy and Thomas, sales soared. Not for the hooch, but the story, raw, redemptive. American as apple pie a la mode with a shotgun chaser.
Me?
Athena Hale, no longer ghost. I dated a carpenter from the crew, easy laughs. Calloused hands. No rush. No rings. The .38, locked away. Dust gatherer. But some nights, thunder rolls, and I wake gasping, echo of that highway hum. Touch my throat. Smooth. Unbruised. Smile in the dark. Not this time. The will revealed everything. Betrayals bite. Families fracture. A woman's forged from fire. Grandma knew, left me the month not as test, but trigger. I pulled it, and the world righted. Crooked as ever. In the end, happy? Nah, too pat for Hale blood. But whole. Damn straight. And that's the real reveal. Rising ain't about perfection. It's about the fight, the fall, the furious stand,